Hello there. Well, here I am at my local boatyard. This is a friend's fishing boat. It's a Mitchell. He'd purchased this a year or two ago. They'd been out fishing a few times and quite successful, and I was asked to join them, and we went out fishing for herring. And we'd gone a few miles out and found a shoal, and despite a relatively small net, we'd got more herring than we required. So a good day was had. As you can see, it's bitterly cold here, and this is the boat. On coming back, the engine was not behaving itself, and I was told the boat didn't go as well as it should, but compared to mine it was romping along. The oil pressure gauge was missing, and had been missing for some time. On the way back, about a mile from our moorings, the engine started to smoke and make a hell of a din, and came to an abrupt halt. So we investigated, and upon dipping the sump, it was found it had no oil in whatsoever. The owner insists that the oil had been checked previously and it was absolutely fine, so where had it gone? So the boat was taken back to the yard, and the engine was taken out and decided to be completely looked at. Well, the engine was taken out. It's all under covers here. I'll wait till the guys get here. It's all been taken out, and the sump was removed, and the shells of one of the big ends are completely disintegrated and gone. So, and obviously got hot. So it was decided to send the whole thing off to a reputable engine rebuilder, and no expense spared, have it all redone. Well, unfortunately, the guy that was doing the work was taken ill. And to cut a long story short, we got the boat engine back, not completely assembled, and several nuts and bolts missing. A lot of these were UNF, devil to find, but with a few clever bods in the club and engineering types, various parts were manufactured, machined, and the whole thing was reassembled. But upon trying to start the engine, it didn't start, and the timing was checked and found an error had been made here. This was corrected, but then it investigated there was a very tight spot, even though it was all new, on cranking the engine over. So it's decided to remove the head and have an investigate. Everything looked fine, and then a colleague of mine put his hand in the piston, probably to see if there was movement there, and upon taking his hand out there was a ring round his wrist. Transpired that this ring is the top of the liner. So where's the liner gone? Well, it can only have gone downwards, as it had the head on at the time. So the sump has been removed and drained, and I'm informed that the liner had been dragged down into the boat, into the sump, and obviously been broken up by the web of the crank. Here we have the top of the liner that came out with the guy's hand. Amazing. So, the rebuilders, the engine experts have been called, and despite being a horrible cold day, they've agreed to send a technical expert, one of their fitters, as they've never come across this problem before. They've had liners split, they've had them seized, they've had blocks cracked, they've had all sorts of things, but they have never known the top lip of the liner to part and the liner to actually travel down into the sump. So we await the arrival of the expert. While waiting for the representative to call, this is the sump, and this is the remains of the lining in the bottom of the sump. I can't say I've come across this either. All new pistons have indeed been replaced, and new shells. And here's the, if I can get down there, ooh, the bottom of the engine. Ready for inspection. I can see a piece of liner there now. So it would appear that's what's happened. But as to exactly why, well, it'll be interesting to see what the guy has to say. In the process of all this engine rebuild, the head had been resurfaced, all new valves and springs. No expense has been spared into the rebuild of this engine. All new hoses, all the wiring to the battery had all been upgraded. Make a fine fishing boat when it's finished. Incidentally, I didn't say we went out, we towed a small dinghy, 7-foot dinghy, and with a 2 horsepower Yamaha pulled the whole caboodle home against the tide. Took a very long time, but we made it back. And I'm getting cold here, waiting for all the guys to turn up. I apologise for the shaky camera work. This is just handheld videoing on the fly. Anyway, as I said, I'm getting so cold, I'm going home for a cup of tea. So this vid might have to be in 2 parts.